Hello. Oh no, my camera is wrong.
Are you live?
Yes.
I will tweet it.
There you go.
And then I will make the announcement. And I'm going to mute and deafen myself now. I'll tune in for the stream.
Bye, Disney. And hi, everybody. Just some final little tweaks. Let me put on a little bit of background music. I don't know what the volume on that is. Probably too high, maybe not. I will let you all know. I will let you all check that and tell me if the background music is too much or too low. Hi, Phalanx. And yes, that was my final form. It's it was capturing from the wrong camera, which didn't have all the background removal stuff. So it was just removing everything. I hope everybody's doing fine, and we are just finalizing a little bit of stuff just to make sure that we have the stream done right. I don't let me. I'm gonna hear myself. I'm gonna hear myself. I'm gonna hear myself. I'm gonna hear my. Okay, I'm hearing some feedback. Give me a second then. So I think the background music needs to be just a little bit higher, maybe. I couldn't hear it, but anyway, and it's spicy. Sounds good. All right. Well, I'll trust you all on that, and you can just let me know if I need to tweak any of either my volume or the music or anything like that. So, hi everybody, and welcome to this November developer update for the Forge. It has been about 2 months since our last update, and that was a little bit done on purpose because we had quite a bit of stuff, and I wanted to make sure that the less interesting stuff didn't affect what we were going to be announcing. So basically, we had a couple of new developers joining us, which meant a lot of the time was spent kind of managing the team itself, figuring out who needs to do what, and explaining um, the architecture of the forge and things like that. So that has caused us to slow down a little bit on the development side. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we didn't do 1 month um, a developer update after 1 month, and all I could tell you is, well, there wasn't anything new happening. We just uh, uh, told our new developers how the Forge works. So that's why I delayed this until 2 months, so we can have, the first fruits of that labor available to show off. Um, and there's quite a few new and really cool stuff that we'll be showing you. So, of course, let's start with the hiring itself. So, if we can look at our about page, you'll see that we have Bruno and Michael were added recently. There's a third developer that was added to the team and who started just on November 1st. Their name should be added within the next few days to the About page. But it is a team that is growing, which is really good, and we are able to do to provide hopefully more and more features and faster. And yeah, so the hiring process that we started this summer is finally over, as we have our 3 new developers joining the staff team. And so far, it's really doing great. Really happy with everyone's work, and I'm seeing some really great progress. As for the new hire, Phi, his name is Rikus. They are a very promising developer as well, and they'll be working on that feature that I promised last time. That is the ability to translate the site, so you can have this little icon here to switch from English to French or German or Spanish or other languages. We're not yet sure on the languages that we'll have. If you remember, I believe in the August developer update, we had a new intern that was going to start working on that feature, but that didn't work out, unfortunately, because of personal issues that they had. So after only 1 day, they were forced to, unfortunately, cancel their internship. So that's why that feature didn't come to fruition. But now we have Rikus Phi, who will be working on that starting now. Other than that, let's start with some of the really cool new features that we have made on the Forge. So I'm on the developer website here. One of the new additions is the ability to see your upcoming invoices. So you can see from your account, you can go to upcoming invoice and click on it, and you can see, it's a preview of the invoice that will be built on September 10, 2022. And this is what the invoice is going to be. And you can even change it to your local currency. We currently support, I believe, euros and Canadian dollars for the currency conversion. I don't know if we'll be adding more currency conversions, but it is something that we currently support. And this is the interesting part, because we sometimes have people saying, I know what my subscription is, but I can't see the actual invoice until I receive it, so I don't know how much taxes you'll be charging us, etc. So with this, you have that advantage of being able to preview your invoice in advance. This also works in the subscription manager when when you change your subscription and you can do the preview. It will show you a real preview of your invoice, and the same thing when you go to the Bazaar marketplace and buy stuff. So this was really important because we had to be able to show the exact amount that you'd be paying because of the tax stuff. And on that note, we do have some other update with regards to the taxation. We're continuing. This is taking so much of my time and Leon's time as well, with regards to the sales tax compliance with the US. So we will be adding some new states that will collect taxes from. So if you remember, let me see here. If I go to the forums and the announcements, there was one about the taxes, right? So we had Maryland and Utah that were added on October 1st, where we started collecting taxes for Maryland and Utah. And we will be adding a few new states to the list. Specifically, we'll start collecting from Ohio, Indiana, North Carolina, Michigan, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. So that's a pretty long list. We will be notifying people from Pennsylvania and Rhode Island via email because it will affect their subscription. But the others will only be collecting from Bazaar purchases because they don't actually charge software as a service. So it's not going to affect any of your invoices. We are already actually collecting from Louisiana now. It's already been added. And we're just waiting on Ohio, Indiana, North Carolina, and Michigan to give us basically our sales tax ID in order to start collecting from those states as well. So if you're in either one of those states, you won't see any changes in your invoice, but when you're going to the marketplace and buy content in that preview, you will see that taxes have been added to that digital purchase because that's what's getting taxed. Pennsylvania and Rhode Island, those will be affecting the subscription, so we'll notify all our users before enabling that and giving them enough time to review what their upcoming invoice is going to be like. So that's, with regards to the sales tax, it's obviously we're growing, so we have new sales tax obligation, and that's the really annoying part, and the boring part, obviously. But it's also portion of a big portion of the time we spend on the forge, unfortunately, because we do have to make sure that everything is done right. So that's the boring portion. Let's get on the less boring portion. We've continued to do all sorts of bug fixes and polish on the forge. Obviously, we had this little change on the front website. You can see it's really nice. I did promise last time that we'd still be doing more changes to the website. We did small tweaks, but we didn't do as much as I wanted. But those are coming soon enough. But I do want to do some higher priority work that I think everybody will be happy with. We did fix one of the issues that some people had, which was that some pages sometimes didn't work, or if you updated an image in your assets library, it wasn't updating in-game as it should. Those were issues that we had with our CDN provider. We fixed one of those where the caching of some of the modules or something like that was not working properly. But with regards to the changes in when you update an existing image and it doesn't reflect that within the game, we've had a couple of months of back and forth emails with Cloudflare, and in the end, basically the response was that um, it is an intentional bug, as they call it, in that it's how they design things, and they can't do anything about it, unfortunately. So we had to compromise. We can. The thing was that the image would be cached for about an hour before. So, if you open your game and for the next hour, you don't need to download the image every time. But so that was good because it allowed you to load into your game or refresh the page and for the scene to appear as fast as possible. But that we can't really do that because if you change your map, for example, and the change is not reflected right away, you have to wait for about an hour. So that was kind of annoying. So we kind of compromised on a 5 minute delay, not delay, but like a 5 minute cache. So as long as you refresh within that 5 minutes, it's still using your cached version by the browser. Otherwise, it's going to check if there's an update on the server. So that's, I think, a good compromise between the 1% of users that are updating their images versus the 99% of users that are always keeping the same image but that need to access it as fast as they want, as they can. And I think that works well because generally speaking, by the time you upload a new image and switch to your game, reload the page and all that, that 5 minute will have elapsed. So you wouldn't really be able um, to see it. So that was, I think, those two bugs, those two issues were the biggest headaches that we had when it came to tech support that we were providing, because it was a question that was coming up quite often, and so we wanted to make sure that it was fixed. So people have not been complaining about this issue anymore for a little over a month, so we're quite happy with the result. And there's, a lot of small polish and improvements all over the website. Obviously, if you go to your game's configuration, for example, you have this little search here, so you can search for Kobold. It's a live search, so it's pretty instant, and it's really good for those power users that have, like I do, a ton of worlds. So sometimes having to find that right one was a bit difficult, so we added this to just make it that much easier for everybody. um Another very very big improvement, and that was another one that was causing us a lot of headaches, and by headaches I mean um people were constantly asking about it, and we had to help our users figure out how to fix it. um and that's not something that I want our users to be doing, right? On the Forge, I pride myself on providing a service that is turnkey, and having someone need to ask how to do something um, is, I think, a failure on our part. It needs to be intuitive. It needs to just work, basically. And so, one of the issues that we had was the fact that um, it was not able um, to install packages um, correctly for specifically for premium packages and for um, when you install something from a manifest. So if we go to the bazaar, for example, and we go to install what was the Tome of Beasts, for example, right? Um, so installing something like Tome of Beasts by Cobalt Press, which is a premium Foundry content, it's not a Bazaar marketplace content. This is, I believe, something like 400 megabytes of data, and Foundry itself would try to install first it would try to download the 400 megabyte zip file into your storage, which, as you know, is generally limited for the game master tier anyway, to 500 megabytes total size. So just downloading that 400 megabyte zip file was generally going to fail. And then you end up with a leftover file that just puts you over your quota. And that was not obviously a good user experience. And so even after that, like even other premium packages or anything that you might be installing via manifest URL, let's say a Patreon or something like that, you would still end up with very large modules in your data, which we didn't like, obviously, and users were getting some issues because of that. So one of the things that we added was the ability to just do the install, and as it does the install, it will also do a server-side optimization where it will split all of your media files into the assets library and then delete them from your data folder. It will also increase your quotas temporarily during that installation process, which should allow you to basically install things without issues. So that was a big thing that we wanted to have to avoid these problems where an install would fail. So now it should technically never fail, and it should not be using your quota anymore. So this would, I believe it's like 2 megabytes of data now instead of 400 megabytes, which is really great. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges and one of the biggest changes that we had to do to just improve the user experience overall. And it's there you go. It's finished installing, and it's a small package at this time. And that was one of the tasks that Bruno worked on in last month. So there's, as I was saying, there's a lot of small improvements like that. And this works for manifest installs as well. So if you go to, let's say, custom modules, and then you do install via manifest, and then you paste the manifest URL here, it will do the exact same thing. You can even see here, like, verifying package, on downloading, unpacking, optimizing. You'll see the status shown at the bottom here on where it got in that step, in that process of the server-side optimizations that we were doing. So that's a really good change, and I'm very happy to see that happening at this time. Now, one other really cool change that we did, and that I want to show you, is the shared compendium. So you all know about the shared compendium feature of the Forge, which is really great, and you can just name your shared compendium and just creates that for you. Now we have a more dynamic UI where you can also give it a description and you can customize it. So some people didn't like that default listing, and so you can just remove the things that you don't like. You can add level 2 monsters, or like CR2 monsters, for example, and just customize it with any number of entries of any type, and just create your compendium with one click of a button. My shared compendium, demoing for the stream. That's my description. Then create compendium, and that's it. It was created, it was installed, and you can even click here to view it directly in the bazaar, which is, I think, a pretty cool new feature that was added. So you can just go and see your shared compendium directly if you wanted to, like, uninstall it. So that's one very big, polishing point. If you remember from the last stream, I said that I wanted to work on improving the polish and the small features. Not necessarily the big, huge features that we want to bring to the Forge, but just like small little details like this. And I think this is just magnificence. It just adds that little extra quality of life to the user's experience. And I'm very proud of this feature, the UI and all that. This is one of the things also that Michael did. So it's all new stuff that the new developers are working on. So you can see having that ability to have these small changes and bigger changes as well happening at the same time as I'm working on the other bigger stuff is really, really cool. So hopefully you all like it. I know that the shared compendium feature from the Forge is a big winner in people's eyes. You all love it because, like, the alternative, I know some users that, sorry, I get distracted easily. I know that this is generally how people who are self-hosting will create a shared compendium. This is the article, the guide that people use on how to do it. So let's get started. You have all of your different options. This is how you create the module.json, how you add your packs, and then there's all this description. You have to read all of this and understand it and then create your own compendium for shared compendium. This is how people have been doing it for basically the past 2 years, and I mean, it's a really great article. It's well written and very detailed, but I just never thought that most users would want to go through that pain. So having this feature is super awesome, right? So let me see my notes here. So yeah, that's one of the really cool features. There's another really cool one. So if you go to like your account here, you have the little button here to delete, to remove your license, right? I can show you also on the development server. I can you get this little dialog here. You confirm the license removal, and there it is. It's just removed just like that. Because we do have, not often, but we still do receive requests from users to remove their licenses from their accounts, because sometimes someone just makes a mistake and they add their license just to see how it works before gifting it to their DM or something like that, and then it gets stuck on their account. Or just as part of people just wanting to move to their own server, so they want to remove that license from their Forge accounts and things like that. So we did that manually so far. It's something that isn't time consuming so much, but it is something that we had to take care of manually, and just the user themselves having to email us requesting that we delete their license for them is an annoying step. It's an annoying task, obviously. So being able to just do that on their own directly from the account page is just easy and just makes it super super more convenient. That's another one of Michael's additions recently. There's quite a few more things that I want to discuss. And there's my own work, some of the really, really cool stuff that I'm excited to show off. But I want to first do a little showcase of the bazaar. We have, as you know, every one of our streams, we try to showcase 3 marketplace content that we think that our users would enjoy. And generally, I call in Leon to do that showcase for us and let you all see some of the really cool and interesting stuff that is available to you on the bazaar. So I will join the call with Leon so he can show you some of this content, and after that I'll show you some of the biggest and more interesting, let's say, features that are coming to the Forge, as well as doing the giveaway um, for a gift card. Let's start the giveaway thing now. Actually, I think that would be a good idea. So if we open it now, hopefully that works. So if you type in chat hashtag Forge is best, then you should be entered into the draw. Hopefully that works. Yes, it seems to be working. So as we do that, you can we can do the giveaway entry, and we'll show you the bazaar stuff at the same time. And once we're done, we'll do the draw for the giveaway. Let's switch to trying to do my thing here. Let's switch to Leon. I'm a little lost. Okay, there it is. Switching. Does
Hello.
that work? Hello.
Mwahahaha. Viewer beware. You're in for a scare.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's do this at the max quality.
Mm-hmm.
Our wonderful new screen here you can see. But little did they suspect I would bring forth the Halloween spooktacular even post-Halloween. Because I cannot be deterred even past common sense. And behold, my frightening Halloween costume. Mwahahaha.
Okay. Please scare us. Your camera is unloading.
It's loading.
There you go.
So, this is my schoolgirl outfit that I was going to wear for the original Halloween stream. But the problem is, I'm not a cute girl. And I'm not even a cute guy, really. But I think you can see that this costume doesn't quite fit me.
What? It doesn't fit you?
No, turns out that the biggest size schoolgirl outfit I can purchase doesn't fit.
You have to get back to school. I think that might help.
Yeah. I need to drop the freshman 30. Is that what you call it? Yeah. But today, getting serious. Uh,
Right.
we will be showing off 3 really cool pieces of paid content. The Edo Town package by Tom Kartos. Uh, Mark Drummond J's Altar package, and then finally the Goblin Explorers Endless Dungeon issue 1. These all have maps of some sort, but as you'll see, their offerings will vary quite a lot. And we are going to start with the Altar. So, allow me to bring you all to the map. So, Mark Drummond J is a creator that we've showcased before on the Forge. And you can see here that it looks very lovely. It's a alien looking sci-fi map, which is just a rarity. There's not a lot of creators who make actual sci-fi themed maps. I can't think of any on the Bazaar. Can you, Kakarota?
No, I'm not sure that I can.
Yeah. And I think that for people wanting to make a really out of place D&D location, or who are trying to run adventures like Starfinder, Mark Drummond J is your guy. You'll see here that this is an alien altar, but it's a very unusual looking alien altar. It has that disturbing like appearance that you'd expect out of something alien in a big barren landscape with unusual colored vegetation. There's perfectly smooth stone leading up to a staircase where there's some kind of altar or obelisk, and you're not quite sure its purpose, and neither would your players be. Something very interesting about this map, by the way, is that it comes with a handout, and the handout assumes you're approaching from this obelisk climb, which I actually really like because normally it's such a small thing, but normally your players are walking along a path into a map, but here it assumes you're just walking out from this wasteland into the map. It's such a good off kilter way to bring your players in. And
Yeah,
I
that looks really good, and I'm surprised because the the amount of work needed to draw this is and the perspective, it's really awesome to be able to see that kind of handout coming with the map itself.
exactly. I really just really love it. And it also has variants, of course, because Mark Drummond J's map packages always come with variants. So we'll see here that maybe, for instance, you're narrating a thing where your players are walking in and they can see the rituals completing. And suddenly, the entire map is filled with water with a strange portal. Oh gosh, what's happening? What's happening? And then you begin to see the water turn red from the rift opened into space. Uh, by the way, I did touch up this map a little. So one of the really cool things I like to show off. This is direct from Foundry VTT's content creation guide. They show creative ways to use the lighting. This is ghostly lighting with an special animation speed and intensity, a special color, and suddenly the water looks like it's animated, which is just beautiful. I mean, look at it.
That looks really good. And can
Exactly.
you show me a little all of those lighting around the obelisks?
This
There's
is the default lighting.
wow.
So to be clear, I wouldn't normally recommend these many lighting sources.
Mm-hmm.
However, since it is a pre-made scene, Mark Drummond J has a better idea of exactly how it'll be used and stuff, so it's a little better to set it up. So it's a little easier to set it up this way. If you're doing a random scene, I would be a little more careful, but it runs fine on my machine, and I'm pretty sure it runs fine on other people's. Uh And then you can reach the final boss. As the water turns red, as blood begins to soak into the soil, the true evil is revealed. Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
You can even see him in the background of my webcam there if you look at the very charming vampire man there overlooking me.
Yeah. And for those wondering why we use the Nosferatu token so much, it's just because that movie has gone into the public domain because it's so old. So it's actually free to use by anybody. So we thought it would be fun to just use public domain content when showing stuff. So yeah, but yeah, Nosferatu would be an amazing big bad evil guy to have in your game.
He gets made as a joke a lot. I mean, it's infamous that he's a joke on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've ever watched the movie, uh, I think the actor's name is Lugosi. It's actually a genuinely good holding up movie, not in terms of like the other acting, but just the way he behaves as Nosferatu. It's genuinely ominous. So I definitely recommend giving that a watch and then springing it on your ungrateful players who make fun of you for using Nosferatu. Uh,
Yeah.
right. So you can get this on the bazaar where if you purchase it, we'll host it for free. It doesn't cost you any data quota or anything or asset quota. And you can also download it for use outside of the bazaar, only $9.99. And it
Awesome.
comes with several different variants, perfect for whatever use case you need. So, next we're going to show off some of the free modules. So, Right now, we have pointers and pings enabled. Pointers and pings is an older module. I remember it being here since 0.4 or 0.5. It might have been even older. And it's a module created by Moril. He's a longtime module developer. And he made one of the first modules for 5e as a custom character sheet. For actual player character sheets, mind you. There was the better NPC sheet early on, of course, but he was one of the first people to make a sheet. It's unfortunately been abandoned because of so many 5e updates happening, and Moril has always been a hobbyist modder. He's been uninterested in going professional, but to be quite honest, he could if he wanted. I feel like he's such a
Mm-hmm.
skilled person who understands what people want and does handles such common use cases that he could. So let me show you. I'm pressing X on my keyboard right now, and it creates a big pointer finger. Now, if any of you have ever used map tools, you'll know that despite all of its clunkiness, its pointer tools are really something. It's really nice to, instead of having a small little dot showing your players where your mouse cursor is, you can make a really big hand that can't be missed and just point to something and be like, hey guys, pay attention. And if you really want to indicate something on the map, like say a boss or a important obelisk, you can point to this and be like, hey guys, the ritual is happening here, which is just a really nice, swell feature. You can even, by default, force people's attention to a point on the map by right-clicking while holding X, and your screen and everyone's screens will be dragged to that point centered on it. So it's perfect for centering the player's attention. And you can also configure it, of course, and it has a lot of cool options. You can apply it to all of your players, for instance, if you want everyone to have a consistent option. And I can change it here to be, maybe I want to have arrows. So I just change it to that, close out, and now it's arrows. And it offers the option to upload your own custom images as well. So you can custom tailor your Foundry adventure. Like maybe you're running a Zelda themed campaign and you want to borrow assets from Breath of the Wild. You can grab icons from Breath of the Wild and have it be the stuff for your pointer tool and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like there's as much or even more work that went into that configuration settings dialogue than in the functionality itself because it looks so polished and there's just so much that you can configure and it just looks really great, you know?
I know, it's insane. It threw me off because when I first installed it, I actually had problems using it because like it can't be this bloody simple, can it? And it and it was, and I absolutely messed with myself because I couldn't understand how simple it was. I'm not going to say it's flawless because it does have some small clunkiness to it, but
Mm-hmm.
it really is one of the best free modules you can get for like software wise. To the point that I would like something like this in the base functionality of Foundry VTT because it's very good for accessibility. Because the small little circle thing, it's great, but if you have bad vision, it can be really hard to see the small little pointers.
Yeah.
Uh, and the other module I wanted to show off today is actually one with very similar functionality, just called pings instead of pointers and pings. This is another free module. This
By
one,
Azurite, I believe.
yes, sir. And it's the one that Kakaroto typically goes with, from what I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna left click for a little bit, and simple as that. It unleashes. It's just a ping tool, and this is something I think would probably make it into Foundry functionality if it was being added in,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be great to have it. It's just really nice to. Unlike the other one where you have to hold down the pointer tool, this is you just left long click. So if you like a more minimalistic appearance to your VTT experience, this is it. And I think it really speaks to something that, despite pointers and pings being such a known feature, that both modules continue to exist side by side, even if, which is just amazing. So it's really speaks to how customizable the Foundry VTT experience is, right?
Yeah. I think for me the reason why I go for pings rather than pointer and pings is because it feels more familiar to me coming from Roll20 before, where I believe they had a similar behavior where you click and hold and it lets people know where you are. So it's the exact same user experience. So I was already familiar with it, which
Yeah,
is why, that's the one I go to.
I would
And yeah.
I would probably, if you're writing a how to transition from Roll20 to Foundry article, this would be
Hmm.
one of the modules I recommend. And for anyone transitioning to Foundry from Roll20, make sure to install as many modules as you can. It can't go wrong. Don't worry about it. Don't listen to what the other people tell you.
Don't
Just
listen
install
to
all
Leon.
the
He's a
modules you want.
troll.
Just
He's a troll.
okay.
A troll in
Also,
a schoolgirl outfit.
yeah. I do look like a troll in this schoolgirl outfit. There are guys who can pull off the schoolgirl outfit and look cute. I'm not one of them, chat. Uh, Also, finally, shift left click drags you over to the ping. So there's your Roll20 functionality.
Yeah.
And of course, as with all good modules, I always click the wrong menu. You can just scroll down to the module settings and you can customize the permissions here and how long you have to hold down the click for. So I think it's a very customizable tool. And I kind of wish I could have both this and pointers and pings. I wonder, are they interchangeable, Kakarota? Like, can you have them both installed at the same time?
Yeah, I don't see a reason why not.
I'll have to try that out because I do like the pointer tool because, like I said, it reminds me
Yeah.
of map tools, which was one of the functionalities I liked. But it would be nice to just hold down mouse click and
I believe pointer and pings came after the pings module, and the reason why you press a key is probably to avoid that conflict with the long press. So because they function in a different way, I don't see any reason for them to be incompatible with each other. I think that was even like on purpose done that way. So
gotcha. So shifting gears a bit, we will move on to the next module, which is a nice module known as Ito. It's by Tom Kartos, and I almost feel like it needs no introduction, but Tom Kartos is an insanely successful Bazaar creator. Not only does he run one of the most successful map making Patreons out there for RPGs, he is a huge community leader. I believe he runs a creator Discord they have, which is really prominent. And he also helps champion a lot of content creation causes in the RPG space, and for good reason because he's such a cool guy who helps out other content creators, and he's always making such amazing content. I mean, look at this map, guys. This is like one of like 10 maps here, and it's insanely detailed, and all of them have
yeah,
lighting. All of them have walls with very intricate walls at that.
yeah, it's so beautiful and so precise. I
Yeah,
love
and
that.
and yet it's still somehow agnostic enough that it's not going to be distracting if you vary it up, because let's say I want to use it at nighttime, we'll turn down the brightness, and you can see here that the light that it still looks really nice. And of
Hmm.
course you can always customize it further by like changing how the lighting looks, or by adding weather effects, like maybe configure, maybe I want it raining a bit, let's try out the rain. uh Look at that.
It it changes it so much
I
and
know, right?
so quickly. I do prefer the daytime though, just because of how vibrant those colors and those details are in the map. So if I was using this map, I would not want to hide that under the cover of night. I would want all that vibrant color and details to just be visible to all my players.
I think I would agree with you there. And to be clear, this whole package of content, which you can see all the scenes here. I mean, look at how many variants he has. This is insane. even
Yeah.
has a huge town map. Let's import this really quickly, and we'll go ahead and just activate it. Like, what even is this? This is insane. He not only has a battle map, but he has all these town maps. He has this town map with like snow coming in if you want to do a winter version of the world. And there's an unlabeled and labeled version. So if you want to set up a labeled version for you to use as a guide, you can. It's crazy how good this is.
I bet that the other house that we just saw, its layout is visible somewhere on this map. You know, like you could be in the town and then switch to the other house. Like you're actually visiting one of the houses in in that town or village. You know.
Why don't we look real quick? There is the labeled version of the town map. We'll just go ahead and pull it up here. Edo town map. Import entry. And just go ahead and activate it. And we can see here that it's right here.
Yep.
Look, you can even see the same vegetation and such.
Yep.
I mean,
I knew it. Knowing
yep.
Tom Cartos's attention to detail, I knew that he would have done something like that. That's just really great. So you can, just visit the village and then from there you can teleport or something of the sort, just going into each of the different houses where you would have even more content. It's really
And
good.
and here's the insane part of it. He has clean versions of each map too. Let me bring you to the Geisha house. So if you aren't satisfied with the layout of a certain map, like you want to make it like more crowded or less crowded, you can do that. I know a lot of people like to just do work within Foundry. You can use Molinade tiles or you can use the default tile setup. Keep in mind that Molinade tiles won't index the stuff by default since it's a module and not an asset package.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just go to modules, find Tom Carto's Edo, and then just pop into the assets. And look at all these assets! This is crazy. Look, Japanese culture. Can set down fans somewhere. Like, let me just. It's not loading right, but that's always happening with tiles. Whether I'm local or. Gosh. Checks the console. Okay, it's just loading slowly.
Yeah, for some reason the drag and drop kind of doesn't always work. I noticed
Tiles have
that.
been tiles have been the eternal bane of me whenever I use Foundry. But here, like, look at this. I placed these beforehand. Let's say the players like kick out a seat. Oh, it goes flying against the wall. You've done it. Oh, they knock over the table. It's knocked to the side here.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So if you want to get a more, well, I guess again, map tools approach.
I was wondering why the clean version had that go table in the middle of one of the rooms. You had placed those yourself before
Yes,
the
I
stream.
had.
Okay, that explains it.
And it's not just maps and assets. This is a whole adventure. Allow me to show you all the handouts associated with this. This is telling a political story. I mean, look at this. This, as it's framed within the package, there is a thrilling story of feudal Japan with a lot of fun details about actual legitimate feudal Japan stuff. Like they mention the Barakumen, which are the people who are on the outskirts of society, butchers and morticians, people who specialize in the gritty stuff that would have left them on the outskirts of feudal Japanese society. It tells the story of the daimyo who must obey the will of the emperor as he orders the daimyo to ferret out rebels. And meanwhile, the peasants themselves are nearing a peasant rebellion as the daimyo pressures the civilian peasantry more and more. And yet at the same time,
Can you show me
while
some of those journal entries, like
yes,
real quick?
so it
Yeah.
explains here the inn in the bathhouse. It's become a home for the peasantry,
Hmm.
forming a sort of rebellion. And there are people here who will try to, and there are people here trying to engender the rebellion, while there's also guards trying to crush the rebellion. And it's really cool because it tells the story, and my favorite part of it is that it's a dynamic town. You can go from location to location as it becomes important, and choose the peasant's side, which is genuinely sympathetic because they're being crushed down and oppressed, versus the Demaio side, which from his end he's going, I'm trying to crush a rebellion and prevent the emperor from sending his army and killing this whole town off for going against his orders. And so your players get that nice little moral, like, gray setting that I love to run. So I definitely recommend picking this up on the Bazaar. It's $24.99. Comes with the maps, the assets, and the entries. It's the kind of thing you can run agnostic. You don't need to run it in 5e. You don't need to run it in Pathfinder. It's whatever setting and system you think would fit this town.
That's awesome. It's really impressive. I mean, this is obviously way beyond a standard map pack because you have the map pack with an immense amount of maps and alternate versions and all that. Plus, you have the assets pack. Plus, you have the adventure, the story behind each one. So I think that's an incredibly, impressive module.
I mean,
I
look
love
at
it.
this. This is insane. This whole map here.
Yeah, the
Like, look at.
detail on that is absolutely jaw-dropping.
And it's. And I know that some may bulk at the pricing, but it is a lot of maps. Like, this thing could. You could
Yeah,
genuinely run this for 2 or 3 levels, guys. It's that huge. It's so
way
gigantic.
more. I think way more than 2 or 3 levels.
Yeah,
It's,
potentially.
I mean, it
Especially if you.
depends how high level they already are, obviously, but yeah,
Yeah. How I would run it is that I would set this down as like the main core of the town buildings, and I'd make a lot of surrounding content. My biggest problem is I've already run a campaign incredibly similar to this. Uh so I can't exactly run this for my players easily, but man, is it juicy. I would love to focus on this some more. I can gush over stuff forever. Like, I still want to gush over that altar package earlier, but
yeah,
I do want to show off one more package today, so we're not stuck here forever.
yeah,
We'll now be showing off Endless Dungeon Issue 1 by the Goblin Explorer. We've shown off his content before. Much like the Eidos package, this is a very agnostic. This is a very system agnostic package.
yeah. Just as a
So,
reminder, because someone asked in chat what it's called again. I believe it's Lido Town from Tom
Edo Town.
Cardos. Edo Town.
Yes.
Um, by Tom Cardos, and I just posted um the links to them again on the chat for those who are interested. I also noticed something when I was actually opening those links earlier, uh, to just keep them on the side for later. That Discord cuts off the stream when the Discord window is not 100% focused. So
Interesting.
yeah, because I would switch and then go back to seeing what you were doing, and on the stream on my second monitor, I can just see that it was all blank all of a sudden. I was like, why was that happening? But I realized it's because when I unfocused. So if some people in the chat or in the stream were noticing blanking of the stream from Leon, that was why. That was my fault, and I apologize.
Yeah, I'm glad to know that my ISP hasn't interfered with the stream yet. I'm sure it'll manage it by the end.
Right.
Anyway, uh so we have Hippo Man here just exploring it, and you find yourself in this lovely catacombs. There's coffins, there's pyres burning. It's amazing that all these dungeons have people maintaining like the lighting, just putting in fresh coals, stoking the flames, all that. And we come through this nice system of stuff, and it has small little details like, oh, players wouldn't see this, but here's a secret door. And it's free to customize to your wish. And it's obviously a very bare. very barren in terms of like specificity, which I think is a good thing because you can invent and create anything you want around this. It's kind of, I know I praised Edo Town for the detail, but the difference is here you're meant to customize it,
Yeah.
and it is a much lower price. And this isn't the only map. You'll see that these maps are lovingly outlaid with the walls, and that there's all these cool rooms to explore and to choose what to do with. Like maybe this is a level of a dungeon your players are delving into. Well, that's possible because the Goblin Explorer always makes their dungeons so they can be used almost anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain beauty in that if you like creating your own content. And there's stairways going up and down, so like maybe you can make one stairway that Hippo Man started in over here, the entrance, and then another stairway somewhere else on this map, like here. Uh, this could be the exit to some boss room or something. And to be clear, and not only is there these furnished versions, there are unfurnished versions as well. So once again, you can customize stuff, like maybe with big tiles and stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
with assets from Tom Cardos, maybe
Yeah.
all that sort of thing. And this is one of three maps I believe that comes with the package, and each one has a furnished and unfurnished version.
Cool.
No, correction, four.
Yeah, you have level 0, 1, 2, and 3.
Just as simple as right clicking import entry and then activating the map, and you're good to get to work. People like Goblin Explorer and Neutral Party and other creators, I've always liked their agnostic dungeons. I wouldn't give up specific themed creators like Tom Cardos for or like Mark Drummond for anything, but there's a certain beauty in getting a blank template or a nearly blank template and letting them take care of a lot of the work of creating your own map and getting to the stuff that matters, which is setting up content for your players and just having fun.
Yeah, but
Uh
I don't really think it's a blank canvas personally. I think it's really well done in terms of content already that's in it. I think the dungeon works really well with being the way that it is because you don't want to overload um like a lived in house. This is a dungeon. It has to be, you have that wooden door on the ground that tells a story in itself. You have those bones in the corner. You have those sacks of flour. I don't think it's a blank canvas. I think it's really. I would personally just use it as is. I don't think I need to add anything more to it personally. But obviously, we all have different play styles, and in your case, you might want to furnish it more and like add more details, like different stuff to it. Um, then that's definitely something that's also doable, of course.
yep. And so I'll be ending the Bazaar showcase with this package. It's a very cheap one. Uh, Double checking, only $4.99 on the Forge, so $5 basically. It's a great
Mm-hmm.
value for your wallet, and you get 4 maps of your choosing that you can use. So if you ever need to fill in an adventure, or you have just a basic idea of what you need, but you don't need anything in specific, you can take this and then maybe use some of the extra stuff as ways to fill in your adventure even more. Like maybe some guy came here and he had just almost gotten out of the dungeon, but then he was eaten by bears. That's a fun story to tell. I
Yeah.
I always set out these bizarre showcases to try to depict to people how they can use the content they can purchase on the Forge for their own games. And I
Mm-hmm.
hope I've given you some good ideas about how you could use the content. That's it. I'm going to take off this schoolgirl outfit because I can't breathe in it properly, and I'll pass things back to Kakaroto.
All right. Well, thank you. And let me switch back to. Let me cut off my camera first, and then switch back to that other one. All right. And I'm muting Destiny. There you go. Okay. And we are back to displaying my screen. So just as a recap, we are doing a giveaway in just a few minutes. I'm just going to announce that again in the chat for those who missed it. You can enter the giveaway by just typing Forge is best. That's going to be a $20 gift card from the Forge. So go ahead, if you haven't already entered the giveaway, type hashtag Forge is best to be entered in it. And as a recap, this is, from the Bazaar Marketplace. You have the altar from Mark Drummond. Beautiful, beautiful maps, beautiful content. And you can see 28 battle maps, immersive concept art, pre-built lighting, all of that. You can explore that from the Bazaar. And the second one that we showed was Edo Town from Tom Carlos. Japanese inspired, includes so many things, and just absolutely beautiful maps. Wow, that's really great. Edo map by Tom Carlos. And the third one was the Endless Dungeon by the Goblin Explorer. And it has these 4 amazing dungeon maps. And we also showcased Pointer and Pings by Moral, as well as the Pings module by Azurite. So there you go. That was our Bazaar showcase. And now, if you're all ready, we will do the giveaway. Are you all ready? You all want to see if you won something? I have 16 total entries. Should I give you all a minute more? Or just do it? Ready? Ooh, okay. Alright. Where's the button? There it is. Draw. And it drew Lectu. It should be announcing it in chat. Hopefully that worked. But Lectu, yes. So in theory, well, I can show you here. In theory, I've clicked the announce, but I don't know. I'm not seeing the message. Oh, there it is. Now it appeared in chat. But yes, that was... Whoops, I moved the wrong window. Lectu. Whoops. Okay, I'm a little bit... Look, here. There you go. All right, back to chat. What happened? Lectu, yes. Answered. Congrats. Congratulations, Lectu. Do contact us via the Twitch chat, and we'll send you a $20 gift card that you can use. You know what? Let's make that $25 gift card. Because the Edo Town, if you want to get the Edo Town, it's $24.99. So with that gift card, you will be able to get Edo Town without adding that little $5 extra from your own pocket if you want it. So I'm just making that $25 gift card so you can have any of these packages that we showed, or anything else, or you can use that for your own Forge subscription as well if you want. It's up to you. All right, sounds good. So do send us a private message in Twitch, and that's it. Actually, I can probably just let's see if I can do that real quick. There we go. I just made a new gift card, and how do you send a message? Whisper. There you go. And there you go. I just sent you a message, Lectu, in private in Twitch. with the gift card link, so you can claim it directly in your Forge account. So you don't need to contact us or anything like that. All right. So the giveaway is closed and archived, and we're good. All right. Let me get back into what I was doing here. Where are my notes? Let's see. What did we talk about? I hope everyone's having fun so far. Everyone's happy with all the stuff that we showed. Because some really cool, interesting stuff is about to happen. Let me get through my notes just to see if I'm not missing anything else before I get to the exciting part that I want to show. Let me see. We talked about the invoice preview. We talked about the hiring, the compendium, right, the premium packages self thing, tax stuff. All right, so there's a couple of things that I want to show. The first one is the creator's dashboard, right? This is something that has also been in the works. You know, we talked a lot about the kind of features and things that we do, but some of it you never see because it's reserved to the creators, you know, the Bazaar creators that are on the Forge. So I want to show you what they get, what they see, you know. I am doing this on the development server so that you cannot see any of the actual manifest links without, you know, paying for the content, obviously, and you don't see any of their financial data or anything of the sort. So all of the data I'm going to be showing is not real, basically. It's fake purchases, fake things. It's just the development server. It's just for testing purposes. So first I can click here on the creator dashboard. I am, you know, a administrator, so it shows me an administrator profile. And then this is kind of like my content creator profile. And you can see all the purchases. Let's get to the actual dashboard. So developer creators can access it from the creator dashboard here, and then they get to see their packages. So me, as an administrator, I'm seeing everybody's packages. Okay, but we added, so you can notice it looks very similar to the my games game configuration dialog on the Forge. So we are using kind of the same design. This here, the manifest URL is generally, you know, clear text and you can edit it, but this is hidden just for the purposes of not showing, because some of these are actually real packages that I was testing on the development server. So we don't want to show that to anybody. So I hid it for the purposes of this stream. So you have your dashboard where me as an administrator, I can see all of the creators, what their balances are, what the next payout would be. I can see the payout that already happened. I can see all the purchases that happened. This is all not real data. This is what the creators generally see as creator profile. They can see what their current balance is and when the next payout will be, what that next payout will be, the past payouts, and they can see all of the purchases that happened so far. They'll also get this same kind of bizarre view where they can actually see how their content would appear. And, you know, they can also export everything as CSV files if they want more details. Dragon's Horn Tales, is a premium protected content from Foundry. So it is slightly different. It has, so its manifest URL doesn't have a download link. So instead of us just having the manifest URL, we instead have the protected download URL. In the case of Dragon's Horn Tale, if there's an update, then we use this link to download the content instead of getting it from the manifest. This is how it works. But this is basically, generally you won't have that, but this is basically how a package appears to our creators, so they can decide if what the price will be. They can decide on a sales price. They can decide if they want to enable pay what you want or not, and you can see the package preview here changes accordingly. So you see here it says 6. If you enable this, it says, it becomes pay 1 or more. If it's 0, it becomes pay what you want, with a little arrow to say that it's, there's no minimum. They can add YouTube videos for screenshots video. They can change the cover image. They can change the preview, the description, etc. And if they want, they can also do revenue sharing. This is very similar to what you saw earlier with the shared compendium with regards to the UI, but you can basically enter a creator ID here and what the percentage they should be getting. So you can see here the my share starts to drop as I increase the share of these other creators. So when you have a creator that has partnered with other creators to do like a collaboration type thing, then they can sell it on the bazaar and automatically have that share of the revenue be split among all these creators very easily, with just entering the creator's ID and what is the share that they want to give to the other creators. And you can see here, this is a new edition that was released last week, where you can actually see statistics, right? So you can see, for example, this one, there's a portion that is shared. So you see there's 2 installs, 4 total sales. This is the total generated revenue, and this is what your share of that revenue is, which is really good. You can also see it in the dashboard here, with regards to, you have the price, you have the platform fees, but for the creators platform, you have the price, what the platform fee is, and what the creator's share is. And like this fake module here, my share is only 75 cents out of, a $10, because I'm only getting that 10% of the share. So that's kind of, and they can also see whether or not the person who purchased it as a gift or not. So this is kind of what our UI looks like here. They can also generate gift cards, and they can generate a certain number of gift cards every month for each of their packages, if they want to do like giveaways. So they don't need to basically purchase their own content in order to give it to somebody else, obviously. So, and a certain number, like 5 gift cards per month, we wouldn't be charging any kind of platform fees or anything of the sort. And the cool thing also here, so how we have, your game is currently online. This needs to be changed, but basically, green means it's available on the bazaar. Like this, the idle indicator, so orange, actually means that it was submitted to us and we need to review it before we approve the package or not. And when it's red like this, which is technically offline, it means it hasn't been set to be ready to be published, right? So the creator just added it and they're still modifying the description and things like that. And you can see current installs 1. And the reason is because if I go to the bazaar, I can actually install it as the owner, basically, of that package. I can install it in order to test it before I make it ready to publish. And when they're ready to publish, they can just, ensure they have their PayPal account links, and then they tell us, assets by Tom Cardos, licensed for commercial use, maps created by me, etc. They can tell us what the their copyright assignments are and their licenses to use the content. Then they get our end user license agreement that they can accept or reject, and once they accept it, then it gets sent to us automatically as an email for us to review, and now it went to ready to be published, basically. And that's kind of it. You can click also here to see what it would like in full screen and things of that sort. So that's kind of how our creator dashboard is, and that has been evolving quite a bit in the last few months. The revenue sharing is a new feature. The statistics is a new feature as well. This is all recent additions that we made, and I wanted to show all of that to you. Hopefully, if I want to show this to kind of our users who might just be curious. I'm a curious person, so I like to know how things work behind the scenes, kind of. So I think that's something really cool that maybe you might be interested in seeing. But also, if you are a creator and if you want to sell your content on the bazaar, this is how it can be done. This is what it looks like. You just want to add your package, you just add the URL, you select what type of content it is, and then click the create module, and then you get this view where you can just customize your content and edit your revenue sharing and generate gift cards, set it ready to be published. You can see your statistics and all of that. And that's kind of our UI, and we have some really great, our knowledge base. We have some really great articles, guides to tell you how to do different things. And the getting started here is really simple. We just receive an email with information about the content, and then we can approve. Like change your give you the role of creator, and that gives you access to the creator's dashboard. All right, and with that, I'm going to be moving to a little new feature. So I don't know if you're noticing, there's a little thing here called save points beta, and this is the thing that I'm really excited about, and I've spent the last 2 nights just relentlessly working on getting a sort of demoable thing, just to be able to showcase this during our stream today. It is not ready. It is not going to be ready for a little while yet, but it is in a state where I'm really happy, and I'm happy to be showing this to you all as well. So basically, the UI is just a placeholder kind of thing, but this is basically how it would work, sort of. You have your load save points, and it's a bit slow at the moment, but it will get better. Don't worry about that. But yeah, you can click to see your save points. So the save points feature is the world builder tier feature that allows you to automatically back up your worlds and things like that. And we use that to we would use that to be able to restore your games from the past. So this is our daily backups. We already have this in place for over a year now, where we do daily backups. You can see November 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and then at one point after like a week, then it becomes once a week, and then all the way to 3 months ago or something like that. And at one point, this one will be deleted, and this one will move on, etc. So we have like a rotating list of backups with a sort of 3-month period total, or something of the sort. And using that, since we already have these backups, you would be able to back up something. Even if you aren't like on World Builder, you could upgrade your account and get access to a backup even if you hadn't set that up in advance. So you would be able to list what worlds you had on a specific day, from our recent backups, basically. And from there, you would be able to restore, let's say I want to restore my Curse of Strahd game, and I would do, like restored, and it's going to start recovering that world from the backup, and then create a new world from it. And so if I go back to my game's configuration page, like my Foundry page, and I look for Curse of Strahd, then I can see Curse of Strahd restored. So that was the game that was just restored from the backup. We also have save points here on a per game basis. So you can see here, this one has 7 save points because it has autosaving enabled. So anytime I idle the game, I try to play a game and then I idled it. So if I launch it in a new window, you'll see. And so you can see the timestamp. This was all happening yesterday. As you can see, I stopped working on this around 7 a.m. actually. But yeah, I spent the night working on this, and this is when I started testing it. And you can see, like, if I can ask for a snapshot, a save point to be created at a specific time if I want, and there's my 8th save point. Or, if I'm playing the game and I can, oops, by mistake I deleted this thing, or I just made changes, something's happening, it doesn't matter, I'm just playing the game, right? I'm playing with my friends, etc. So it is auto saving, so automatically when this game will be idled after a little bit of delay, it will automatically create our 9th save point. So if we go back to it in a few minutes, technically we should see save points. There's a 9th one that would be a few minutes from now, and we'll get to that in a second, and we'll see what happens, right? So that's kind of the changes that I wanted to show. This is the feature I've been working on. So obviously the UI, this was just basically copied from the configure players UI, and basically kind of copied that into this UI here for the save points, which is not as good as what you're used to with regards to the Forge in terms of polish and all of that. So obviously it's not finished, it's not polished, it's not great and all of that, but the functionality itself is working. Things can be optimized to make it faster to list your save points and all of that, and there's more work to be done on the back end, etc. But it's getting there. So last time, in the last stream update from 2 months ago, I did promise that we're making good progress on the world builder tier features, and even though it's not ready yet, I just wanted to show you what that progress is. And this is what's really exciting to me, because this is something that I've envisioned from the very beginning. If we look at the plans and pricing here, right, the world builder feature here of automatic game snapshots, that was always planned. You can see from March 2020, right? So that was very early on, within the first month basically of creating the Forge, even before the release of the Forge. I had this idea of being able to automatically create snapshots of your games, and just I'm really hoping that I can get this out by the end of the year, which I believe I can, because we've made so much progress. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. It's been a long time now, and I cannot wait to see it come to everybody. There you go, save points 9, because the game has idled, and we have one more save point. And you can obviously from, oh, what was it 3 months ago? Did you have this item 3 months ago or something like that in that session? And then you can just restore from November 3rd. You know, Kobold restore Nov, right? And by doing that, obviously, again, the UI is not polished. You don't have that little loop that tells you that something is currently being done, but there you go. Finished, a new world was created. It doesn't automatically add it, so I do need to reload at the moment manually. But yeah, if I do Kobold, you can see here, restore November 3rd from that backup, basically, which is so awesome. And that's kind of the feature that I wanted. And the reason for this is because I had to use that so many times personally when I was DMing for my group, when at some point one of my players says, oh, how come I have 0 gold pieces? I'm sure I had some. When did that happen? And then I would go back in time to say, okay, 1 month ago, no, you had 0. 2 months ago, you had 0. 3 months ago, oh, you had 150 gold pieces. And then 2 months and a half ago, okay, it was between session 24 and session 25th that it got wiped to 0 because you probably accidentally deleted your coins from your character sheet. And the value before was 153 gold pieces, so let me restore that to you. So I've had to use that because personally I was manually doing a before session, after session, a backup, a manual backup of my games every single week. And that was obviously annoying, but that was something that I did. And I, because I want to have that whole history, you know, of what happened in the game and everything, and being able to go back and see, oh, they completely, you know, changed this map by doing all this stuff in it, but now I need it again, how it was, you know, when it was pristine, so I can go back and then copy a scene from how it was before they moved all the furniture around or killed all the players or whatever. And you can also use that as a feature where, you know, some very powerful magic item that can, you know, move back, affect time and space, and they would, or, you know, a wish spell, and they can, you know, reset a scene, and then you can take them back to a null backup that way, which is really awesome. And yeah, this is why I'm so excited to be showing off this feature, because it's something that has been, you know, on my mind for so long. And again, obviously the UI is not done. It's not even created. I don't consider this as being the UI that will be in final. This was done last night when I started around, I think, 4 a.m. And I finished around 7 a.m., you know. So that was a 3 hours of work to build that UI, just to be able to show something to you all during today's stream. That's why it's not polished, it's not good, but the functionality is there. As you can see, it actually works. You can actually see the auto saving happening. You can do a on time, on point save, and restore from your previous backups. And you see here, it says no changes detected since your last save point. So even though I asked for a new save point, it still remains at 9 because there's no new changes. So it wasn't created. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in the backend to make this feature possible. That was pretty much, you know, a year in design, in brainstorming. I tried some solutions that I had to completely scrap, and then finally found something that I was really happy with, and it's working. And that, yeah, I know I said it enough times, but I'm super excited about this, and it's coming soon. And that's the really interesting part, is that it's not, again, a future possible feature. It's something that's coming, and I hope everybody's as excited as I am with this. Imagine just being able to go to any of your games and just seeing like the log of any time the game was started, you know, and being able to go back in time anytime you want. It's just awesome. um, and that's kind of the big thing that I wanted to leave uh, to the end in terms of feature to demo to everybody. Um, and final thing to talk about. This isn't so much a feature. I mean, it's not at all a feature, but it is an announcement that I want to make. If you aren't aware of PAX Unplugged, it's a it's a convention for everything tabletop RPG and things like that, and it is happening in December in Philadelphia, and we will be attending. And by we, it's mostly me and Leon as well will be attending PAX. So if you want to meet us, if you want to be there and meet with other people from Foundry's team as well, or the league. So we're in discussion as well with the League of Foundry VTT developers, of which I'm a member. We'll also be going there, so we will be there. We will be having some fun and meeting with the Foundry community. Um, so that's really really something that's gotten me excited, especially knowing that all of my friends that I've had you know contact with for the last 2 years or even more now. I don't even remember how long I've been within the Foundry community. um, that we created some really strong bonds. We became friends, but we never met face to face. So being able to meet all these amazing people and um, meet them face to face, it's really really exciting. So I'm glad we'll be going there. I don't think the schedule is out yet, um, but there's a few things that you can see already from the website. Well, maybe not none of these, but maybe Expo Hall. So there is a bunch of stuff. We won't have any booth, or we won't have um, anything of that sort. We're not doing a panel or anything like that. We're just going there to have fun and meet up with people. So that's what it's mostly about. So that's PAX Unplugged. Um, was there anything else? Oh yeah, if you are there and if you see us, we'll have stickers. We'll be distributing stickers with the Forge logo if you want, that you can put on your laptop, like most people do. So I hope, well, we hope, because Leon will be there as well, and we both hope to see more of the Foundry community there. And so feel free to come and join us. Um, and one last thing before we switch to the Q&A. Um, if you don't know Crash Gem, um, they are a D&D streamer, and they are doing a charity event for Extra Life. So you can donate to support Children's National. That's something that's coming in a few days. So November 6th, all the way to November 7th. So they're raising money for children hospitals, basically. So make sure to tune in to Crash Gem, even for just a few minutes, and donate for a good cause. They will be giving away a lot of gifts. We will also be part of that. So that includes Forge gift cards and some Bazaar packages. Crash Gem is sponsored by the Forge. So we do have some of our content there available as rewards. um, for people who are donating. So there you go. That was another announcement to finish on. And I think that's it, right? Help the kids, donate for a good cause. See you all at PAX, and that's it. I'm just checking if I didn't forget anything. I don't think so. So let's move on to our Q&A session. I know that this has been almost 2 hours stream just to catch you up on everything that's been happening. So thank you all for staying with us for so long and following all these exciting news. Um, Give me a second as I catch up on the chat here, real quick. Ooh, let's see. In the meantime, while I'm catching up on the chat, um, if you have any questions, feel free to post them now. Um, can be about anything, and I'm anxious to answer everybody's questions. I hope we get some good questions today. VT Tom, that is a very good question about hiding the links. If you're streaming something, I did notice that at the same time with regards to my invitation links, which I did reset one of them at one point because of that. We do hide the license key, but I think the invitation link should be hidden as well. Um, so yes, definitely a good feature suggestion. The Nickel Midwest wants some stickers. Yes, Nick, I know you want some stickers, and I did promise you stickers before. Um, but the stickers that I got, which I was going to send to you, were the old logo, and we had already started the design work on the new logo by the time that I received them. So I decided to hold off. So once we get the new stickers, I'll be sending you a bunch. So don't worry about that. I have your address. I'll send you that. Don't worry. Um, oh, right. Thank you, Destiny. If you want to follow us, yes, I should learn to get into the habit of that. Please follow, hit that subscribe button, and all the other stuff that most YouTubers are used to saying. Um, Follow us on our social platforms, Reddit, Discord, Twitch, something like that. Um, I think I need a script to read for the signing off portion. But yes, the links to our socials were posted by Destiny Gray on the Twitch chat just a few minutes ago. So you have Phalanx having a question regarding the backup feature. Does it save your chat log? Yes, it would save the chat log because it saves a backup of your entire world database. And the chat log is part of the world database. So that would save the chat log along with it. So you basically, it's a snapshot in time. So you basically go back to that moment in time when that game existed. Do note that it is the game's database itself, not the assets library. So within the Forge philosophy, the data from the world and the assets library are two separate things. And so if you delete an asset from your assets library, even if it was referenced in a past uh, backup or save point, as we're calling them, um, that asset is not coming back to life. Basically, it's just that world itself. So you might have some um, tiles that are missing or something like that, but everything else, whether it's the chat log, any world compendium, any actors, scenes, um, combat, anything like the world itself, um, would be restored. Oh, Alaric wants to troll. Feel free to troll, but wait for the serious questions to end. Um, I'm used to you always having some really good questions and a few trolly ones, and I love that. All right, you better have fun at PAX, or else a certain clown paladin will find you. Okay, now I'm scared, Zenja. I'm scared. Yeah, we will hand out stickers, show up to PAX. Everything I've used on Forge worked great, no question. Just thank you for all that you are doing. Well, thank you, Negative 2 Charisma. Negative 2 Charisma is, I believe, a Twitch streamer as well. Um, and I I believe I'm just gonna follow you now. Because I did see an email from you coming today. But yeah, Negative 2 Charisma, Twitch streamer. Thank you for that, for those kind words. So my question to chat is, what feature do you want for the Forge the most? Okay, that's a good question, Destiny. I'll put them all over my classroom, need some decals for my computer boxes. Try to write somewhere to feature request, or is it enough to mention it here? Um, VT Tom, I got the feature request. I'll take care of filing it on my side. So I think it's enough that you mentioned it here. So thank you for that feature request. Um, it's fine. Runs Twitter. Switch to Forge. Who runs the Twitter? It's me usually, and Destiny also. Destiny is my executive assistant, so he handles quite a lot of stuff and is also keeping an eye on Twitter. But yeah, I remember that conversation with Chuck. I believe I was the one that tried to convince them. Um, there I am actually giving some support to another German user. I rate in channel features suggestions. Okay. German. We have so many people from Germany. If I look at my statistics, we have the US as being the biggest consumer of the Forge. Then we have, I believe, between the UK, Germany, Brazil, and Canada, those are the big ones that are like the big countries with users subscribing to the Forge and using Foundry. Yeah, big communities in Germany and Brazil, um, from like the non-English speaking countries. What's the overhead on dealing with all the tax stuff? And have you ever thought to yourself, I should just stick to the EU and Canada? The overhead dealing with tax is quite huge, unfortunately, because there's a lot of research to be done. There's a lot of work that needs to be done that just cannot be delegated to some service or whatever. Like for example, we enrolled with Stripe Tax, which is a new feature of Stripe. But as diligent as I am, I wanted to triple check their numbers, and their numbers were off. You know, they would say we have this number of transactions for a state, and when we do the math, it's a completely different number. So we had to redo a lot of that work. We couldn't trust the information that Stripe Tax was giving us. We have some conflicting information with Avalara versus TaxJar versus, there's so many different companies that do tax services, and they all give different informations. Destiny has even gone looking at memos from the departments of revenue, especially with the US. There's a lot of stuff to be done. Canada and the EU were the simplest. The UK was not simple. Especially, I mean, particularly after Brexit, that just complicated everything. The US is extremely complex, so there's a lot of things to be looked at. Like, Louisiana, for example, for which we recently registered, we wasted I don't know how many days, weeks of work trying to get us registered with Louisiana, and everything. Like, basically, it's um, in order to register for a sales tax ID, you need to register your business with Louisiana. In order to register the business with Louisiana, you have to have a local representative. So then you have to look for a local accountant who lives in Louisiana to be your tax representative, and they'd be liable. So they have to, you need to make sure that you have someone who wants to take on that role. And it's just so complex, and you look through all of that and you spend weeks researching everybody, and then you have another roadblock, and then you realize you can register directly with the Department of Revenue instead of the Secretary of State, and then there it all works apart from validating your address, because like it has everything set up so it can accept like Canadian addresses, but then it says the address is invalid, so it doesn't work, and then spending hours trying to get that to work. And then in the end, something that we could not find anywhere online, but someone was kind enough, I think on the second or third call from Destiny to the revenue agency of Louisiana, someone told him, well, I think you should go to the Remote Sellers Commission, which is a completely different thing. And so, go finding that Remote Sellers Commission. It's a different website that we didn't find anywhere else, that is specifically for remote sellers selling into Louisiana, and that one works. And that was like a 15-minute task, or like 30-minute to just register and everything, and we got the tax ID, and that was just a breeze. But before getting to that 30-minute to register, that was weeks and weeks of research and time wasted. And that's just one state, that's just Louisiana. Maryland, for example, we had kind of the same thing, and in the end, we managed to register, but then we had to wait about a month to receive a letter by mail, in which that letter asks me to go to a notary in Montreal to sign an affidavit to take responsibility for that account because I don't have a US social security number, and then sending that back via mail, and then waiting probably another month before we receive the correspondence back and all of that. So, it's extremely complicated, and every state is different. Every state has to be registered. So there's the streamlined sales tax, which is a really interesting um, concept, that has a few of the US states, not all of them, but a few, that just makes it much easier to register for them. But yeah, that's basically. I mean, I could spend another hour just talking about sales tax and the complexities involved there. Um, but to answer the question, why not sticking to the EU and Canada? It's because basically, I want everybody to be able to enjoy Foundry and the Forge. So I do not believe in a internet website limiting you based on your IP address. That's just something I hate. And as someone living in Quebec, just like giveaways and things of that sort, where you see like sweepstakes, US and Canada eligible except Quebec, I always feel left out, and I absolutely hate that, and I don't want that to happen to my users. Um, all right, I spent a bit too long talking about tax, which is boring, I'm sure. Let's get back to other questions. What's the overhead? I'm dealing with that. Help me. It worked. It's nice here. Don't forget Estonia. There must be loads of users that from there. Not so many users from Estonia, but Estonia is part of the EU OSS scheme, so that's just great. How many from Spain? I bet there aren't many of us. I'm not sure. Like, I don't have the stats ready to look at. Let me see. Um, but there's a few people from Spain. Not as big as the other countries I listed, but yeah. Felipe, why not South America server? That's a good question. I'm also asked sometimes why not a West Coast America server. Every single server has a huge cost. Not just cost in the server itself. Because I mean, obviously, if a server goes down for whatever reason, you don't want the forge to be inaccessible. So we need a minimum of 3 different servers. So if there's one that fails, then there's a backup and a backup to the backup. And the backups between themselves need to have a quorum to say, I'm not the one that lost internet. It's that one that lost. So you need an odd number of servers always to be able to communicate with each other and come to a consensus on who needs to take um, uh, the hand basically on handling the requests and things like that. So 3 servers that need to be rather large because of the storage server and the database and things like that. So there's a high cost for every single region. But beyond that server cost, the cost in maintenance, in, you know, um, like right now I'm doing the backup stuff, right? I need to do a backup system for each different region, and I need to have a server that handles all those, save points for each of those regions. And anytime I need to do a change, anytime I need to do an update to the website, anything like any every region adds the amount of work that we have to do. So if I could, I would have 10 regions, but it would take me, if I need to push an update, it would take me forever. Or, add a feature. It's just like so much cost in terms of time and administrative work to just like set everything up. So that's one of the reasons why I'm limiting the number of servers, of regions that we have. Um, Beyond that, there isn't a South American server available from either DigitalOcean or OVH, which are the service providers. Moving to OVH allowed me to add a new one in Australia. Otherwise, DigitalOcean doesn't provide one in Australia either. So, like Asia, the only one was Singapore, which didn't work well for some of the people in Australia, but OVH at least has Singapore and Sydney. But there isn't one in South America. But yes, South America would be a good one to have because of the number of people in Brazil. But even then, I would need to have a really high number of users to justify that cost. Otherwise, I would basically be losing money just on the servers and not receiving enough subscriptions to cover that cost. So that's one of the reasons as well, right? Um, but again, like the regions is basically just for the Foundry server, so it will affect your latency, but it's not going to specifically affect as much with regards to the gameplay, loading the scenes and all that. We use the CDN, we use Cloudflare for that, and all of the assets are basically distributed in over 200 different servers around the world. So, when you load your modules, when you load your scenes, your worlds, it's all coming from a region that is like a server that is really close to you. But it's just when you move your token, instead of taking 30 milliseconds to move the token, it takes 80 milliseconds. That's kind of the effect that it has. Obviously, when it starts to get into 200 milliseconds, you'll start to notice it, which is what I want to avoid. But other than that, it's not strictly necessary. All right, Alaric, I'm just thinking there's a lot of tax fraud going on with many online businesses that sell to U.S. citizens. I cannot fathom the amount of work that is required to pull this off. Yeah, Alaric, it's a lot of work. It's really a lot. And I'm sure that a lot of online businesses are ignoring that. Um, because it's just crazy. Some of the stuff I've seen is absolutely absurd. Um, I would say most of the laws and the industry is centered around brick and mortar shops. So you have some laws are just they don't make sense. Like they don't have the concept of online. you know like as an example, you have a lot of the US states have a threshold before there's a economic nexus, as they call it, to say that you have so much business with this state that you have an economic nexus, so you have to collect tax. And generally it's $200,000 a year in that state, or 200 transactions. So 200 transactions to them is enough to count as, uh you have so much content that you need to start registering. And so you look at it from the Forge perspective, 200 transactions in a year, that means less than 20 subscriptions, which is very small amount, you know and that's what, at like $5 per 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 subscription, that's less than $100 a month versus 200,000 a year. That's the difference between, because they think if you are out of state and you make sales into this state, it's because you are an international seller and you are shipping crates in containers, or big pallets that are, you know tens of thousands of dollars per transaction. That's the way they think, and they don't think about online software as a service products like this. Um, so yeah, it's really awful. And like for example, with the GDPR in the EU, like they say, if you break GDPR, um, your like the cost would be 4% of your annual revenue, or 5 million euros. Okay, 5 million euros, whichever is the highest. Which means that someone like me, the Forge, if we make a mistake with the GDPR, I mean, of course, they're not going to immediately give us this penalty or anything like that. But if we make a mistake like that and we get sued for GDPR failure, which is a EU law, then, oh, your 4% revenue, annual revenue is this much, but you need to pay 5 million euros because it's the highest of the two that you need to pay. Um, because the only reason that they made those laws was to target Google and Amazon and Facebook. You know, those three are their target, but they make a law that will target me, which is absolutely ridiculous. If we get that 5 million euros um, uh, penalty fee, I mean, the Forge doesn't exist anymore because there's simply no way that I would have 5 million euros to pay, you know? So that's kind of where every day we see stupid laws like this. But that's how it is. um, Nickel Midwest, this is what I came for, the hot sales tax talk. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure people are not that interested in sales tax, and it's you can see I have a burning passion uh, in the hate department on that subject. But yeah, it also explains, why some things might have been a little slower in the recent 6 months or so, because we had to deal with quite a bit of this stuff, and it takes a lot of our time. There's also draw off silly criminals and people who just really, really want to track people unlawfully. The smart people will be fine though. Drop business entity, start a new, done. Drop the. I don't think that it's that easy to do that. But anyway, um, so yeah. Uh, do we have any other questions? Hopefully not about sales tax, because I talked a bit too much about that already. New questions? No new questions? All good? All right. Well, if that's it, then well, yeah. Thank you everybody for joining. And thank you for the questions. Thank you for listening, for everything, and obviously thank you for trusting the Forge, for being with us, and for being awesome users and customers, and making us able to do what we do. So thanks everybody for that, and thanks for being here for the stream. Um, and congratulations again, Lick2, for that giveaway, for winning that random draw. Um, and that's it. If you want to keep track of this, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Reddit, join our Discord. And if you're on Discord, you can go to like I believe it's the welcome, no, the rules channel, I think. Rules and roles. And you can click that little reaction to get the news and the service roles, which will let you get pinged when there's news like this, such as we're going live for our stream. And so that's about it. Thanks again, and see you next time.